Well, all right. It is Thursday, February 29th, leap day of the leap year. It's about 10:15 in the morning on the West Coast. I am done for today. Uh, wasn't a bad day. It wasn't a great day. Could have been worse, could have been better. 7-2 for the day. I believe I started off 2-2, if I remember correctly. And unfortunately, I did get hit on one of my PA accounts and took a loss for $518. And as well as my second loss, or I forget the order of what they were. I think it was my second loss was on the evaluation number 26. I lost $683 on that account as well. But the good news is that I managed to get winning trades on two of my three PAs. And let's see, on five of my evaluations, I was able to get a win. So that's what I'm doing with my strategy now is spreading out each trade. I take a trade and move on to the next account is typically how I want to operate for my strategy for how I'm trading Apex accounts. And speaking of Apex, they are still running the 80% discount. You can use this code or any other to pick up any evaluation size you'd like. This code is always good for the best discount being offered, and 80% is good until March 4 at midnight that night, which is next Monday. And the 1 day pass for the evaluations is still ongoing. You can see I added the number of days being traded on my accounts so that you can keep track of that. I didn't know I can add a column like this. So once I learned that I can add a column that shows the days, I have to update it manually myself. But that way, anyone watching can see how many days has been traded on the account. So for instance, on PA number 2, you can see I've traded for 27 days and I'm just under $600 away now from qualifying for a payout on it. So clearly taking me some time. I've been trading this account since Christmas, and if I can get there, it'll be my first payout on a PA account with Apex since I started. So unfortunately, I did take that loss on this account, and that set me back to below starting balance again. Still have room for the drawdown, about roughly $1,000. It's entirely possible that depending on the size of the risk or how I play it, the next loss on this account might, if it comes next, might cause me to lose the account. But I do have this newest account that I got just recently. This was the second day traded on it, and essentially they just swapped places. This account hadn't been traded. It's been traded 2 days, so it's just both been winners, both trades for that account, and so it's been above the starting balance. This just had gone back up above the starting balance on its last trade, and now it falls behind again. So I've been struggling with this account. It's been kind of like, at starting balance and below, at starting balance and below. That's been kind of what's been going on. But if ultimately this account were to get blown or something, or just not get to a payout for a really long time, and this one both managed to get to a payout, to get 2 out of the 3 to a payout. I know I've had other PA accounts that I've blown up, but they weren't traded on the system, so I'm not really thinking about them anymore. But yeah, if I were to get 2 of the 3 of these current PA accounts to a payout, that's a win. I mean, I'll be in profit for all of my fees for a lifetime of Apex so far. So it's all good. And I want to get into talking about the trades, but again, I'm really enjoying trading this way, where I trade, basically I started with an evaluation, I switched to a PA, and then I switched to another PA. I picked up the loss, then I switched to an evaluation, picked up a win, switched back to my last PA, picked up a win, and then I think I switched to the evaluation, picked up a loss, and then the rest were wins to finish the day. And I really called it, really, I'm trying to finish by before 10 a.m. West Coast. And really, if I could be done by 9:30, that's really my goal every day. And so today I happen to have got one trade on each of my active accounts for 9 trades by 9:30. And I could have kept trading. There's actually been a couple more winners since I stopped. But I just decided, you know what, I've had enough for the day. It was a decent day. And if I were to trade anymore, it would have been on evaluation 26 because I didn't want to trade PA6 again today. And the thinking behind it is I just don't want to have any single day where I can blow up a PA account in one day. I always want to be able to give it a chance to recover on another day. And, you know, if it blows up on another day, that's fine. But I don't want to take an account that had full drawdown and blow it up in a single day. That's not what I want to do. I am willing to do that on an evaluation possibly. So if I did continue to trade, I would have gone to evaluation 26 and tried to work and get some of this back. But, you know, the way I figure things for my strategy is when I have a chart that's, or multiple charts that have been working all day for my profit target for each entry, by around 9:30 to 10, sometimes even around 9. Those charts typically, if they're going to pick up some losses, typically start to pick up some losses around that time. So the longer the day goes on, the more risky I feel my strategy is. Now, I picked up 2 losses early on, and that's the way the strategy is going to go. It's going to be somewhat random. And the thing I like about my strategy is I'm able to get 9 trades in a single day today. Like on Monday, I was 8-0, able to get 8 trades that day. And so I'm getting the volume of trades I want. And I know that the strategy over the course of the first 2 months of the year is running at 81% overall. And you can see for the week, I'm right at 80%. And for today, I was at 78%. So the other cool thing is I'm at 125 total trades inside of the first 2 months of trading. And I've had days where I didn't get a trade or days where there's been 1 trade. And I've really only switched to taking, you know, the maximum amount of trades I can take every day just recently. So, you know, to have 125 trades 2 months in is, I'm just, you know, compared to my trading for the previous 3 years on futures, I'm in a totally different category now. And I think because I'm spreading out these trades over the multiple accounts, the idea is to just get a trade a day for each account. And that's the goal every day. And the losses, you know, I have a pretty good amount of data for statistics of 125 trades now, where I could be reasonably confident that I can be roughly 80% on any given day, you know, on average. So if I'm taking 10 trades a day, I should win 8, possibly 9. It's possible I only win 7, but that means 7, 8, or 9 accounts are improving and progressing each day. And every single day, there's just a chance of, you know, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 losses in a day. So the numbers game is on my side in terms of accounts being approved upon versus the accounts that possibly might get a loss for the day. So today it just happened to fall on one of my PA accounts. I'm hoping that, you know, most of the time when a loss does come, it will be randomly distributed to a evaluation account instead. But it's just gonna be random, and I'm not taking trades on individual setups. I'm just taking trades based on the charts working and not having losses for any entry for my profit target. And so far, so good. It's working, and I'm prepared for these kinds of days where a loss comes on a PA account. It's just going to happen from time to time. And there's more evaluations than PA accounts. And so in theory, hopefully when I do pick up losses, they get hit on the evaluations more often than the PA accounts. And I'll get enough wins across the board over time that I'll start hitting payouts and start passing accounts before I'm losing too many. And we'll see how it goes. So with all of that being said, I do live stream every day. You can check it out, 9:45 to 12:30 East Coast time, which is 6:45 to 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast for me. And let's get into talking about these trades. All right, so here we go. When I got started, I was able to find 2 charts real easily, and then 2 charts I had to go searching. So I feel like any day where I have to like go searching for good charts, are the days where I pick up losses, and the days where I find 4 charts like right off the bat are the days where I could go 8-0 like on Monday. So, but having said all that, it's like it doesn't stop me from trading, and like I just talked about just a second ago, I'm prepared for losses. My system, my strategy for how I'm going about taking trades on all of these accounts is designed to absorb losses. So I'm not going to get bent out of shape about any single loss or even any single 2 losses in a day. I'm just focusing on the improvement of the accounts as I move on from day to day, and we'll see where it all how it all pans out as I move along. So my first trade was really right when I started the day. I entered the trade at about 7 a.m. I think I had my stream going by about 6:55 a.m. or so. And so within minutes, I took my first trade. And as you can see here, as we can see as I make it bigger here, not a trade I would particularly want to take if I was basing it on any kinds of rules. The signal bar is bullish. I'm going short, and it's a big, it's after a big up move. And, but this was technically a second entry. And so, this chart had no losses on it from the, previous session open. And so I took the trade like I'm supposed to, according to my rules. And I picked up 17 ticks on this first trade. Let me clear my throat real quick. All right, so I picked up that first trade, evaluation 35. My throat is really giving me a hard time here. One second. And so evaluation 35, I picked up $213 on this first trade. And so then I moved on to my second trade, which was on a different chart. Let's bring that up. All right, so here we go. Here's another size tick chart where I took my second trade, and my first trade was at about 7 o'clock, and my second trade was at about 7:15. And let me make it bigger here. And so this trade, you can see the second trade, you can see, again, a terrible signal bar. It's a bearish bar, and I'm going long above it, but it was a second entry. And again, another chart with no losses on the chart. And so I switched to PA number 2 and was able to pick up 13 ticks on this win. And that was $122. Then moving on, trade 3 was on the same chart here, and this was the first loss on the chart. Let's see here. The low was 03, so 0275 was the entry, and the low 0275, 99.25. So it went 8 ticks in my favor before it turned around and took me out of the trade. I typically go for 11 ticks. So even though my current strategy is I'm going for a little bit more than my usual 11 ticks, if I was only going for 11 ticks, I still would have lost this trade. And unfortunately, I took it on PA6, so I lost that $518. Now, I'm thinking about moving forward. I started, my first trade was on an evaluation. My second trade was on a PA. I'm thinking I'm going to just stagger it to even mix it up a little bit more. Instead of taking 2 trades on 2 PAs back to back, just the idea, again, spreading out the risk again. So like every other trade is when the risk is on my PA account, as opposed to putting risk on my PA accounts twice in a row. Now, the results might have still very well been the same. I mean, this could have easily ended up being a win on an evaluation. And then my fourth trade could have been a loss, which, by the way, my fourth trade was still a loss. So in this case, it wouldn't have mattered. The losses would have been taken on the same accounts regardless of the order I played them in. But it's just something I'm thinking about in terms of just staggering and spreading out the risk and just making it really be as much of a random distribution of losses when they come as possible on my accounts. So anyway, so trade 3, I took a loss on the P account. Trade 4, which was not long after. This was at just before 7:30. Took a loss on evaluation 26. That was where I lost $683 on that trade. And so I started off the day 2-2. Not a great start, but as you can see, I then went on to get 5 winning trades in a row. So let me bring up my next chart where I took trade 5. And again, once I take a loss on a chart, whether I take it or somehow if I miss it, if a chart gets a loss, then I stop trading that chart. And it's possible if I'm on long enough that I might come back and look and see, did it go on and continue to get more wins and no more losses? I might consider trading it after that amount of time goes by, to see that kind of performance. But otherwise, I put these charts away and I don't trade them anymore. So moving on to the next chart. So I've already traded 2 charts at this point, and 2-2. I had 2 charts left that were both good with no losses. And then I went and looked for more charts and was able to find 2 additional charts again that also all the entries were working. So I was back to trading for 4 charts, or with 4 charts at that point. So let me bring up the next chart for trade number 5. All right, so here we go. So now you can see, trade number 5, here's where trade number 4 was about 7:30. And then trade number 5 was not long after. And again, here's another example of taking a trade that I would never take. I mean, it's not a bearish signal bar. It's right above the EMA. Not clear what price is really necessarily going to do. I think it's reasonable to assume that there could be resistance here at the opening price. You can see it was support here. It fell through, and then it didn't hold here, but it ends up holding here. But it's not a trade if I'm applying any kind of price action rules that I would ever take. But because I'm taking trades just based on my charts, it's not based on the individual setup itself. I know that this chart has had all winning entries before this point. And so I'm simply betting that the chart will continue to work, at least until the time that I want to stop trading. So took this trade. You can see it more than worked. I got 13 ticks off of it. This was on evaluation 27. And so I made 168 on that account. And, even just getting 2 extra ticks in a case like this, it's all helpful. It all adds up at the end of the day. So I really like this auto stop strategy that I've started to use. And let me find the next chart. So that's the 3rd chart I've traded with for the day. And we'll move on to the 4th chart that I traded for trade number 6. All right, so here we go. So now you can see this is now the 4th chart I traded on, and I ended up getting 3 trades in a row on this chart. And my next trade was at about 8:06 a.m. So my last trade was at 7:45. So it was a good 20 minutes before this next trade set up. And I think it looks like 1 leg down, 2 legs down. This is a trade that I think if I was taking trades based on price action, I could think it's like 1 leg down, 2 legs down, and there's a support here, and it's a second entry right off that support with plenty of room back to the EMA. So that's one I might consider. I think if using any kind of rules, it's probably the first one I would have taken potentially. Although I say that, but it's also it's a little scary when you got more room on a measured leg and you're not there yet. So if I am playing by the rules, I'd probably measure that out and say, oh, it's not there yet. I don't know. Maybe I would skip it. But it ends up working, right? So my whole thing, again, this chart, first trade I've taken on it, but there's no entries that didn't work prior to this. And I'm taking every entry that comes up. So this one was a great trade. I took it on PA7 and was fortunate to pick up 21 ticks. So that's basically like 2 wins in one single trade for me, considering I usually go for 11. I made $192 on that. It's the second day traded on this account. and I need to trade for 8 more days, and I still need another, was it a little over 1,200 or a little over 1,300 to qualify for a payout. So then I was done trading my PAs for the day. I was 2-1 on my PAs, and moving on. My next trade, this trade again was at 806. This trade was at 842. So, almost 40 minutes went by before the next entry I was able to take. Trade 7, evaluation 33, picked up 14 ticks, and that was good for $193. I think this was a trade. There was one trade where it didn't take me out of the trade when my leader account, which is a sim account, hit the profit target. I don't remember if it was this one or the next one. So it's possible. It's always possible that when I look and see how many ticks I got, it says I got 14 ticks, but it's looking at the sim account here. So considering, let's see, evaluation 33, I was trading 3 contracts. So it's probably correct, 14 ticks. And like I said, $193. Moving on, my next trade 8, same chart. And again, this thing just pushed right through the EMA. It's a second entry, but it's an inside bar. There's no way I would ever take this trade applying any kind of price action rules, but not worrying about that. I'm just taking every entry as they come. And, that's the great thing about doing this is it takes me out of my own mind, my own analysis, and takes all the second guessing out of it. It makes it really easy. If an entry comes, I take it, and I'm using a semi-automatic strategy. So all I have to do is arm the trade when, so that it will execute the trade if the next bar ticks below any next bar. So kind of hard to describe, but that's what I'm doing. So I put the order in, took me into the trade, and didn't take very long for me to get 15 ticks, and a trade that I would never take. And then moving on to my last trade, let's see here. Now, do this. So you can see this is the live market. So in terms of price action, this is a larger chart, and there hasn't been a whole lot of price action since I stopped at about 9:30, which was down here. But let's move on to the last chart where I took my last trade. All right. So as you can see here, my previous trade number 8, happened right here on a different chart. And that was at 9:08 in the morning here on the West Coast. My next trade, I went short here. My next trade was right afterwards, less than 10 minutes later, and it was for a long going the other direction. And again, this was an entry that I wouldn't normally take using any kind of price action rules, but it was an entry nonetheless. And so I took it, and I picked up 10 ticks on this one, evaluation 31 for $92. And that was the end of the day. I could have continued. See, I was in and out of this trade at, just around 9:15, and it was about 9:30, probably around this bar, right between these 2 bars, that I decided, you know what, I've got a trade for every account. And that's kind of my current goal right now, is trying to get a trade for every account, which that means 9 trades is what I'm aiming for every day. And if you followed my journey earlier on, earlier this year or last year, you know that I was never getting 9 trades in a day. And I got 9 trades today. I got 8 trades on Monday. And, it's like clearly, things have changed for me in terms of my trading. And it's because of my style of trading and how I'm, taking all the price action rules out of it. And I'm just willing to trust the charts and trade the charts more than trading the individual setups. So most of these setups are not great individual setups, but I know that these charts are typically working for my profit targets. every time there's an entry, and that's what I'm banking on. And so far, it's working out. 7-2 today. Again, really getting close on PA6. I don't want to get excited because I've been even closer than this 3 or 4 other times on other PA accounts, and ended up blowing up those accounts before I got a payout. So anything's still possible, but now I've got 3 horses in the game currently, and I'm trading these different than I've ever traded my PA accounts before. And also just the strategy that I talked about with my PA accounts, how I'm trading is different than what I've ever done before. Before I was like copy trading, having multiple PAs going at the same time with like different sizes and things, but they're at risk for the same losses at the same time. And now each account is, separate from all the others. So if one gets a setback like today, well, 2 others are getting progress, and that's just the whole theory behind it. So we'll see if it leads me to the promised land. Still need about 6 or so, maybe could be a couple less potentially trades on PA2. Long way to go still on PA7, and yeah, you can see all the days traded here. Actually, 35. Yeah, 35 is just the 1 day traded so far. So you can see my progress. You can see I'm not trying to pass in 1 day, even though technically I could on Apex for this week and going up till Monday. I'm just not concerning myself with it. The way the strategy is, by the time I've got enough profit to pass or get a payout, I'm going to have more than enough days traded regardless. So I really don't need to bother with the 1 day pass. It's just not part of my strategy right now. Maybe 1 day I can be more aggressive, but I got to lock in some profits first and put some money in my pocket, and then I can evolve and continue to modify things at that point moving forward. So again, 80% discount, use this code or any other, and 125 trades inside the first 2 months. So I'm stoked about that. 81%, not too bad. I think that's going to work for me continuing forward. 16-4 for the week, 80%, and 7-2 for the day, 78%. So again, let me just wrap it up here by being able to look at the stats. And if you are interested to see where this all leads me, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe and follow me on this journey. We'll see. Will turn out to be a winning strategy over time that is profitable, or or not. Time will tell. I'm live streaming every day. Check me out, and I think I've said it all. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back at it tomorrow, hopefully with as good of a day or better. All right. Thanks for watching, and hope you had a good trading day.